So I go on leave and fly back, and I'm in Bagram, and I'm walking with Hickson, who's on leave at the same time. So I'm experienced, and Hicks is experienced, and here's two squad leaders that aren't with the platoon right now. And we have a guy from the rear detachment that's like, hey, Charlie Company's in a tick right now. So we run to the 509th TOC in Bagram, and we're listening to the whole thing happen. Here I am reliving another mass casualty situation, and I'm not there. There was nothing worse than listening to that radio chatter and knowing that my guys are out there without me. And Hickson is the same way. We're looking at each other like, and they're trying to kick us out of the TOC. And Hickson and I are like, you're not getting us out of this TOC. Not until this firefight's over. We know who's injured because I've got the card still with me on leave of our entire roster. I know that Beresford is hit. I know that our lieutenant's hit. I know that we have a couple of guys that have walking wounded wounds. And I'm hearing all this, and it's just eating at you. And then we learn about the KIA, and we get the medevac list and everything. And Hickson and I actually meet the lieutenant, Truesdale, at the flight line in Bagram. We walk them into the hospital as they're treating them and everything. And we're telling them we're here with you. And he's asking us what happened with this and that. And it wasn't until, and so that hits you. And so you're like, okay, everybody else is okay. Everybody else is alive. And the next day, Beresford's body needs to be put on the airplane. And here's a kid, lives down the road from me. Never met him before, but here's a West Virginia boy that's he was supposed to be going on leave in a couple of days to see his daughter's first birthday. And I get the honor with a couple other guys to load his body onto the Humvee and drive with him to load him onto the airplane. And so we carry him up on, and you get a chance to go and lean on the casket. And I remember I went over to his casket and leaned down. It's got the American flag on it. And I remember telling him, I don't know how and I don't know when, but we're going to get some fucking revenge for you. You're like, your loss is not for nothing. And I never thought I would be able to be a part of the group that did get that revenge, but goddamn did we get some revenge. What followed was seeing him fly away, and us finally, it took us all the way until the 17th of November to get back to the base. And the only reason I think that we had air that went from black to green was because that was the day of Beresford's memorial on Fob Kalsu, or on Fob Boris, sorry. And they wanted to fly in, so all the big brass, for the first time all year, showed up for the Fob, just for the memorial. And they flew us in right as the memorial was ending. Like, they had to fly the brass in first, and that was more important than several of the guys that knew him. So Hickson, myself, Weimers, and Frankie, we all landed, ran to the memorial, and got the very tail end of it. I came back to a broken platoon. The platoon sergeant had been shipped off because they wanted to kill him. And I don't mean in the, like, I'll kill him. I meant in the Vietnam era fragging event, they would have killed him. I am 100% certain that I would have probably been a part of it too. And so our one problem was gone. We had no LT. We had no platoon sergeant. We had an acting platoon sergeant. And so they hadn't been on patrol really because they had no leadership. We came back to a broken platoon mentally and spiritually. I mean, Beresford was that guy that was like a tied together group guy. Everybody loved him. And that happened. And I remember getting back, and that night they fired rockets at us, and we fired 155s. Guess what they call for? Battle damage assessment. And I learned a lot of this talking to a guy from the other platoon that went up, but they weren't going to send us out. They weren't going to send us out that night. They sent out another platoon that was down south at Fob Lily training with some SF guys. They went out to do the battle damage assessment. So they went past our fob and they went back north up into Sharkey, Mangrate, and they dismounted, which they should have. They dismounted and walked. The problem is it was November. The weather changes and it got cold. And they started having guys that were going down to hypothermia. I know one of those guys, he had trained up in Alaska for multiple deployments, and he went down due to hypothermia. They had to jungle penetrate him out of there. The platoon leader made the call, hey, we're combat ineffective. We have guys going down with no water, with no food, with hypothermia. I need to pull back. Our company commander ordered that they press on to the objective. We know that there's bad guys up there. They are setting up. They want this fight. They want this fight. And we know they want this fight. I mean, I'm listening in the talk. I was hanging out. I had a great guy that was building the human intelligence section for our deployment. And we're watching all this happen. And he finally spins up their plane. He's like, hey, I need you guys to get your trucks ready. I need you to go out there. I'm going to go with you. So the company commander, to his credit, went with us. I took the lead truck with a couple guys that were on leave at the time. So they weren't there during that battle. They didn't go through that entire battle that's been documented. So I wanted to take guys with me in the truck. That one guy, my gunner, was the only one that was really involved in the battle. Well, while we were setting up, the company commander out there is able to get air assets. He gets Apaches. He gets fixed wing. He gets ISR. We get plenty of air assets to start identifying these guys. And so we drop 500-pound bombs, 1,000-pound bombs, Apache gun runs. We lit them up in the morning. So we rolled over to the 18th of November, and probably around 4 in the morning, gun runs are complete, and it becomes apparent, hey, we need to take this objective. We need to go up there and sweep this area and clean up whatever's left. So we pull back off of our position on the south side of Mangrate and then back into the valley. And we push straight into the valley. All of our gun trucks go straight up into where they just went through hell a week before or 2 weeks before. And I remember jumping out of that truck and being like, we're going to finish this today. This is the same crew. There's no denying. They're the same guys that killed Beresford. There's no way it's not. And we push up that hill, and I remember taking point, and I remember Acosta being with me and Frankie being with me and all these guys that are warriors, pure warriors. And we went up that hill, and we were leading guys that some of them had still seen that combat from previous. They were shooken up. A lot of them, there's guys like Finky, the same way I put them in that same group of warriors. They wanted retribution that day. And when we went up that hill, we weren't coming back without it. And we got up there and we started clearing. And I remember cresting the hill, and I was the point man, and I saw the first dead body. And I called a halt, and we all got online, and we started, we're going to bound through here. And we started talking through things, and we started working our way through the objective. Clearing bodies, who knows who's rigged with anything? Who knows who's got a grenade underneath their body? So we start clearing through the objective, and dead body on dead body on dead body, and just shredded. And we start clearing through. We get to a limit of advance, our LOA, and we kind of stop, set up security, and we say, hey, there's a live guy down here. The ANA are surrounding this guy a good way around. I'm like, well, go get him. And they're like, he might have a grenade. And I'm like, shit, he's right. It's true, because he's kind of hunched over, and he's not saying anything. And Frankie is a stud who played like JUCO baseball in California. The guy has got an arm on him. I'm like, Frankie, what do you think? Why don't you throw one of the rocks at him? So Frankie picks it up and fires this thing, and it misses. The first one misses. I'm like, oh, come on, Frankie, come on. And he picks up the next rock and hits him right in the back of that. I mean, smokes the guy. Guy throws his hands up and starts crying and falls off to the side. But we're like, and the A&A just swarm him. I'm like, fucking give him high five. All proud of that. Like, what a shot, because it was a good distance away. But hey, we proved that he wasn't armed. It's safe to go in and get him and everything like that. I mean, he was injured and he was suffering from hypothermia. So even the enemy was suffering from hypothermia out there. And we come back up to the top, and I'm just like, it's starting. The exhaustion's starting to kick in, and I go up to like where the lieutenant and the RTO and everything, and I remember the RTO going, "Hey, I lost the hides. I lost the bat hides. The little handheld we had that collected like biometric data off of people and all their information. We would document everybody. Pretty sensitive piece of equipment. So I'm like, all right, well, we got to get online and start clearing. And we start clearing, and I hear a click on the other side of this little, like where this ridge is, and there's some trees and some brush in the way, and I see a guy, an Afghan, and I immediately come up and I don't know Pashtun. I don't. They gave us like a 3-hour course on a Rosetta Stone on how to speak Pashtun. So I'm face to face with this guy, probably 10 feet or 15 feet away, and I've got him on lock, and I'm like, I got a live one, and people start swarming over towards me, but it still takes a while for people to get over to the position. And he's got his hands up, and he starts just putting his hands down, and I start reacting. And while this is happening, Frankie is down below me on the hill, and he's already running up behind me, getting to the high ground because it was a sloping uphill. And I remember as soon as I saw him put his hands down and he was pulling up an RPG. And as soon as I saw that, I went pop, 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 and I know I hit him in the upper body, but I didn't hit the headshot. So you're trained CQB style to center mass 2 shots, 1 shot headshot. I missed the headshot. He was able to clack off the RPG, and that thing was, I thought it was coming straight for me. And I don't know whether this is also a divine intervention. I don't know whether the tail fins on the RPG caught a piece of the brush and sent it off, but I remember seeing it go over my left-hand shoulder. And at that point, I know that there's a bunch of guys behind me. So I am like, oh no. So I turn around to make sure that they didn't get hit with the RPG. It had floated straight up into the air and gone off. So no injuries from that. It's just some random event that I don't know, act of God, whatever you want to say. As that's happening, Frankie's starting to lay down fire on that guy, and I swoop up to him, and then I also start shooting the guy. And we sweep down the hill, and I pop a couple rounds at a body down the hill, and then Acosta comes up, and he shoots at the guy down the hill. So we all put rounds into any body that was basically around at that point. And what I think happened to the guy down the hill is I think he was alive because he was still kind of moving when we shot at him. I think he was in the back blast of the RPG behind the guy coming up the hill to get into the fight, and the RPG went off and blew him back off the hill. That, judging by the kind of like the smoke coming off of him, so I assume that's what happened. And we kind of secured the hill. We're like, okay, hang on a second. Let's secure the hill. We still got live guys up here. That was kind of the culmination of the event. Didn't find any more, live suspects, but plenty of bodies. They wanted us to recover all the bodies off the mountain and all the weapons and everything like that. And it was the funny thing is I searched the guy that we smoked, and I took his pack wool hat off, and I started clearing his pockets and hash, a watch and stuff like that. Threw it onto the pack wool, and we kept clearing through. And then it came back, and the hash was gone, but everything else was still in the hat. The A&A came over here and saw that hash, and they were like, "It's coming with me." But we secured a little area, got the clearance to move everything out and start getting off the mountain. The objective has been cleared. So everybody was collected, and I dragged that guy off the mountain. I was like, well, I'll take this one. So I just rolled him down the mountain as we went, and we got all the bodies off. And whether it was to adhere by the the Islamic tradition, or it was the, just, hey, we want to take these back and identify anything off of bats' hides that we can. I don't know. But I remember us getting back, and it was like you took a platoon that was in the throes of a depression and injected new life into them. And I saw talk about something that needed to happen at the right time for the right people. They needed that win. It was one of the few times we were aggressive. It was one of the few times we were like, okay, we've got the enemy where we want them, and we're going to smoke them. And that carried us through the deployment. The amount of just peace I had. Yeah, we took lives on that mountain, but the one thing I promised Beresford is that we would find these bastards and take care of them. And I am 100% confident we got the right guys.